Check, 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 check. Let's see. What do we got here? Oh, we're live. Well, hello. Good to see you. Good to see you. Glad to have you. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's going to be another show today. Another show. An interesting show. An interesting show for sure. All right, let's see. Let's get... We've got Kenny Hampton showing up early for a good seat. Glad to hear it. Chris is here. Gunner's here. The Simple Guy. And let's see, it scrolls off the bottom of the page. Oh, yeah, there we go. We're running vMix Social today, not for your purposes, but for mine, so that I can get this, I can capture this and put it up on the big TV so I can see it during the show. Check the checklist. Yeah. You know, Gunner, I used to have a checklist. It was really essential when I started out. Is it essential now? Probably should use one. Yeah. But at some point you just sort of, you know what you know. And I have show notes, but that's not the same thing as a checklist. Agreed. I mean, checklist, like, make sure all the lights are on, make sure the camera's on, make sure the camera's focused and that the lighting is right. Yeah, all of that stuff. It's Herman. Welcome, Herman. Glad to have you. Daniel's here. Glad to have you guys. And show is starting in 3 minutes, so I guess I better get ready for that. Bit of a curveball in that I was going to open the studio today to the youngsters from the local school that I've been working with, and found out last night that something had come up, and oh, hold on a second, Tom. We're attempting to have it shipped today. If we can make the deadline by the end of the day, I do have you set up to receive the tracking. Well, that's good news. That's good news. Gee whiz. I'll tell you about this project when we get into the show, because we're a little thin on content today for the reason I just mentioned. So let's see. Dolphin tank. Got it. All right. So yeah, we'll talk about that during the show. Anyway, but the kids, you guys would love these kids. They're adorable. They're bright, they're inquisitive, they're polite, well-mannered. They break the mold of what you might think of what 12 and 13-year-olds would be. I mean, yeah, they have their moments, and a couple of them are particularly rambunctious, but they're a lot of fun. And I can't wait to get them on the show so that you can meet them and see how much fun they are. And, maybe that'll inspire you to work with your local school in something like that. Ron is learning to walk on water in Oklahoma. Sorry about that, dude. Yeah, I get that. Oklahoma and, golly, between floods, between floods and tornadoes, the Midwest is just getting kicked. I mean, the South Midwest. My sympathies. I mean, we have hurricanes down here, but we get a little bit more notice on the hurricanes, and they're not like a flood that kind of comes and could stay for a week. I guess a hurricane could stay for a week, but it's pretty unusual. Generally, they're sort of a 24-hour thing. But you get a lot of notice with a hurricane. Tornado, boy, what were they getting? 10 minutes notice. Although I guess when you know that the weather is a certain way it is, you kind of have it. And we get tornadoes down here, just not as much as folks in that central part of the country. And Tony's here, the water ski company. Tony was our guest last week and had just some amazing things to share with us. That underwater PTZ camera. I mean, holy cow, that was so cool. So very cool. I would love to see a documentary a documentary on how that underwater camera was designed and built. That would fascinate me no end, because it looked like a really, really cool custom job. But anyway, many thanks to Tony for coming on the show last week. That was a real treat. Let's see. We got a little bit of news. Oh, you know what? It's showtime. So let's don't get into the news now. Let's do the show, shall we? Let me walk over. I think I've got my thing fixed. Last week, for some reason, a fade to black code got a fade to black shortcut got inserted into my bundle of shortcuts. So instead of having two fades to black, one that faded out and then one that faded back in, I had three. One that faded out, one that faded in, and one that faded out again. And that's why we were black at the beginning of the show. All right, so we'll need this. We'll need lemonade. And we'll need our X keys, XK80. Yes, with a USB extension cord so that we can go all the way across. And yeah, I saw that Stream Deck. That's pretty cool. Otis is here. Otis has a vibration issue with his camera. Ron has swimming cows. It's going to be an interesting day. Okay, here we go. Let's gather all this stuff up. Let's, do we have, yeah, we can see our mics over there on the board. So we will be right over, I think. Let's see. Okay, we should have this mic on. Let's get the notes in. Here we go, got notes. All right, John Piper said, hey, John, he said, I like the name of the show, Streaming Idiots. All of us that have courage to go live and press record are partial idiots. Yeah, I get it. All right, let's fix this camera just a bit. One of the nice things about having a PTZ camera in the studio is that you can, and if you're the only person here, then you can adjust it just a tad that way. There we go. And with the grid system in vMix, I've got myself lined up in a 3x3 grid, and so I can kind of get my thirds right. All right. So let's get that right. We got the mic going. That's good. Oh, you guys can't see me. All right. Well, let's fix that. There we are there. And yes, we'll get the show started in just a second. We can talk about it. In fact, with no further ado, let's go with the show. Shall we go with the show? Let's put this over here where we can at least see it a little bit. There we go. We'll get that one where we can see it. Just out of sight, basically what the shot looks like today. Do I have this shot? Let's see. Well, I may not have the shot, so I don't want to risk it. So here we go. Oh, can y'all hear the voices? I'm interested to know if you can hear the voices. There's a hair salon next door, and so there are always people kind of coming and going from that. One little tip, we were just in pre-show. If you're doing a show like this and you're worried about wrinkles in your shirt, if you will reach behind you and pull down your shirt from behind, that'll straighten out a lot of the wrinkles, kind of give you a little smoother appearance. Okay, Maria's here. We can start. All right, here we go. All right, it worked. Hooray. You say, who is this guy and why is he cheering? I'm Tom Sinclair, And this is Streaming Idiots. That's right. You've officially arrived at the end of the internet. If you go any further over that way, it just drops off into nothingness. But I appreciate everybody that's taking the time out of their day to watch us live or watch us after the fact on Facebook or YouTube. We love having you with us. Kind of an interesting show today, and I appreciate all the folks that are coming to us from all over the country, in fact, all over the world, but especially those folks in Oklahoma that are suffering such flooding. I was talking with some of the folks on chat earlier, and they were saying that the cows are swimming. So if you have swimming cows, that's generally not a good thing, not a good thing. But Marie's here, so we can start the show, and it's good to be here. It is good to be here. It's good to be here. All right, let's see. Oh yeah. First off, today's show was going to be such a great show. It was going to be such a great show. I had invited all of the 11 sixth graders from the Fairhope Intermediate School that I've been working with since February to come here for a studio tour and a pizza party today. They got out of school last week. And so they were going to be here today, but so many of them couldn't make it today that they decided that they would try to come at a time when they could all be here. So they're a pretty close-knit group. 11 of them, 7 girls and 8 boys, ages 12 to 13. And they have been doing their own broadcast. They've been doing the whole thing. They've been doing cameras, they've been doing microphones and graphics, switching with the X keys, the one with the T-bar, the XKE, I think 124 it is, and also an XK 24 for the graphics, but also with vMix and a mouse and a regular keyboard, and then some PTZ optics cameras and a bunch of other stuff. We'll do a studio tour from there, maybe a little later on. Anyway, they've done a super job, and they wanted to come see this studio, and I think they wanted to come eat the pizza, but that's okay too. So they were supposed to be here today, but I got informed last night that it wasn't going to be there. It was 11 sixth graders, Rich, not 6 11th graders. I guess 11th graders would be fun too, but sixth graders were really interesting. I wasn't sure that they were going to be able to handle it, and was very impressed with how sharp they were and how easily they learned this stuff, and were able to figure out some of the things that I gave them 80%, and they figured out the other 20% on their own, and I really was proud of them. So they were supposed to be here today, which is the reason why I'm telling that story, and they're not here today, which means I was scrambling around for show content. So that's always a dangerous thing to sort of let me go without a guest or without some content. First off, I would like to mention, yes, that is a QR code right there. And yes, vMix 22 does QR codes as part of its GT Title Designer. And if you have the vMix, GT Title Designer will do QR codes for everybody to make them actually, kind of come and go like that. Well, that's just a fly-in. Anybody can do that. But the other fancy stuff where the graphics move and swing around does require the vMix 4K or HD editions. But this QR code is a special QR code for you here today. It's different from last week's QR code. So if you're watching with 2 devices, or if you're watching with 1 device and you have another device handy, like a phone or a tablet or something like that, you can scan this QR code and see what the special is. It's a special, what my wife calls a BOGO. A BOGO. I didn't know what a BOGO was. Well, a BOGO apparently in the retail world is a buy one, get one. Now for her, it means buy one, get another one of the same thing free. In my case, it means buy one of these and get one of those. So you can scan the QR code and go find out what the BOGO is, and we'll keep it up. Actually, the QR code will be good until the next show. So this will be good for 7 days starting today, which is May 29th, 2018. So and it's kind of an experiment. I was talking with somebody yesterday, and and we were talking about QR codes and why is that important? How would vMix use them? Well, most of you know you don't have control over the player. That is, the thing that you see me on. Today we're using YouTube or Facebook, but even if you use a third party like Decast or StreamMonkey or StreamShark or some of those, you're not going to get the ability to embed into the player a hot link. Now there may be some folks that do that. So, Rich says Bo goes, that is buy one, get one PTZ. No, not today, Rich, but check that code and you'll see what it is. But the idea is that, oh gosh, and Rich made me lose my train of thought. That's a terrible place to go. Anyway, we were talking. You don't have this hot link embedded. I mean, you can't just click this and have something happen. In fact, you can't click that and have something happen. And if you're going to many, many different destinations, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever, you don't have control over all those players. So you can't necessarily, or if you do, you have to set each one up separately. But with a QR code, you are ubiquitous. You're anywhere. I mean, you're allowing that code to do its thing no matter where you are. So that's the deal. That's the deal I'm working on, and that gives you and me, as the producer, the entrepreneur, the director, the talent, the vendor, it does the ability to show off any QR code you want to, and it comes out of the vMix GT title designer, which is so stinking easy to use. I mean, you just click one thing to say, hey, I want a QR code, and then you double click the QR code that pops up, which happens to be vmix.com, and then you cut and paste your URL into it, and you close it, and you export it, and there it is. You could do 100 of them in, I don't know if you could do them in a minute, but I bet you could do 100 of them in 10 minutes. I'll have to experiment with that one day. I mean, it literally is, just, cut and paste. I mean, if you can cut and paste, you can make a QR code. So I got way off subject. So the idea is that you've got this QR code that can be shown in any player, no matter what it is. So it's completely player agnostic. And when I say player, I'm talking about, whatever it is you're watching me on, whether it's YouTube or Facebook in these cases, or if you're watching it, if I uploaded it somehow and put it on my website, it would still be there. Now, if you're watching on a phone, as Samuel is, good point, Samuel, it does require two devices. To my knowledge, you can't scan a barcode actively while you're watching a live or even a replay of a video. Now, somebody out there may say, oh, well, I've got an app that'll do that. Well, that's great. Love to know about it. But I don't want to get too far afield on the QR code discussion. The idea is, again, going back to the idea is that you as the producer, you as the entrepreneur, you as the vendor, have the ability to get your message out there that doesn't require anybody else to agree with you and say, oh, yeah, we'll let you put this hot link in there, or we'll let you do this, or we'll let you do that. It appears in all of them. So, and you can give me part of the credit for this next idea, although part of it goes to QVC and part of it goes to Paul and Tess at Stream Geeks, because Paul and Tess did, not last week, although they did a nice little show last week, but about, I don't know, maybe a year ago, they went to a local store owner in their community, and they live streamed from that store, and they showed off products, and I'm assuming they sort of sold products, although they didn't have this. Chris says that takes me to the shop. Have I got the wrong one? Let's see. Golly gee, we may have the wrong one in there. That's not good. We'll fix that. Hold on a second. pollen there, it goes away. So if it comes back, let's see if maybe it's the right one now. Now that looks like the same one as before. Sorry about that. I thought I'd fixed it, but I guess I didn't. In a prepared broadcast, which obviously this isn't, in a retail situation, and I've got a couple of retail shops in our area that I won't mention that have a really good Facebook following and a really good Instagram following, and I'm thinking, okay, they would be great candidates for me to come in and pitch to them doing a QVC style show. We'll pick out, I don't know, 10, 20 products in advance. They'll set up a special page on their website for each product. And it could be the regular store page. The idea is you want to be able to track it, though. So if it's a special page on their website that allows them to sell whatever that product is. And then we simply make a QR code that goes to that URL. So as they're talking about it and displaying it, and you know how in the QVC you'll have this column over here that'll have, you know, the model number and the retail price and today's special price and a short description, and then you put, you know, a QR code down there so that somebody can scan it with their phone, and buy it right then. The idea is to take away as few barriers as you can to the purchase. Now, scanning a QR code for some people is going to be a new thing. They'll have to download, you know, an app for their phone or something like that, or their tablet, whatever, so that they can do that. And yes, you can get a bit.ly shortened link and do the same thing that they can type in, but they're going to have to type it into a different device then anyway, or else they're going to lose you on the show. The idea is to make as many ways as possible for people to complete the transaction. Now, this was supposed to go somewhere else. So hold on a second. Let's see if we can't get back to that. I'm going to convert over to the other desk for a second. So sit tight with me just 1 second. All right, so let's see why I don't have the right code there. And let's take these off. And we'll take that off. And we'll go back to graphics and titles. That's the one, number 17. And the trigger should, the trigger is overlaying the wrong one. So let's go number 17. And we'll edit that. And that should fix it. Okay. Great. I'll be right. I'm going right back over the show. Okay. So now, is that the same QR code or not? It's hard to say. Well, I'll tell you what. If, let me put it back up there. If you'll scan it, you can tell me. Yeah, Chris said that it just takes me to your shop and I don't see an offer. Well, there we go. Now hopefully you do. So if you'll tell me that, I will appreciate it. I'm going to experiment with this, and I'd love to hear if you do experiment with it, what your results are. You can send them to me in an email, tom@easternshorebroadcasting.com, or you can post them in the Streaming Idiots group. And if you're just watching the show for the first or second time and you're going, Screaming Idiots group? There's more than one of you? Yes, there's more than one of us. There's like 2,500 of us. And we'd love to have you come join us in Facebook. It's just, just go to Facebook and search for, Daniel says it works. Thank you very much. Jamie says it works. There you go. That's it. And yeah, go to Facebook and just type in Streaming Idiots and you'll come to the group, and we'd love to have you join us. Now, you do have to give us your email address, and that's one of the ways that we kind of hold you accountable for not being a troll or a jerk. And if all you want to do is stream games, to our thing, we're not going to let you in. but you got to give us the email. So that's kind of that's the price of admission. We won't spam you with a bunch of stuff. So thank you, Jamie and Daniel. And Gunnar, you probably need to refresh whatever it is and try the QR code again. So it should take you to an actual page in the shop that has a buy one, get one deal. Yeah. So I think this could become a pretty cool concept. Is it a little clunky? Yes, it's a little clunky. But is anything ever perfect that's almost free? Well, I don't know. I mean, somebody said that Vimeo had the ability to embed a QR code. That's cool. We don't want to embed it. We want it to change every time we talk about a different product. Could we, if we had complete control over the player, then yes, I think we could embed a hot link, and that embedded hot link, I don't know that it could change every time we wanted to change a product. I mean, I just don't know enough about that technology to know. But I do know that we've got complete control over this, and that we can make it go that way. And then, we may have to do a quick tutorial at the beginning of a shopping session to say, hey, we're going to be using some QR codes here. If you don't already have the ability, let's show you how you can take your phone. That's not a phone, but anyway, it could be. And download a QR app so that you can scan it, and it will allow you to go to whatever the website is. Chris says it still says shop for me. That's interesting. That's interesting. So it works for some people and not for others. Huh. Let's reload it and let Jamie and Daniel try it now too and see. So let's see. All right. So that's, I'm going to look at that one, and let's go to, I'm just going to flip over to the pre-show for just a second, and let's take that off, and then let's go back to the main shot. And that looks like the same QR code. You have to get it quickly because it only stays up there for 10 seconds. Obviously, it's the kind of thing, let's see if I can recognize it. If I put it back up there, is that the same one? Yeah, it's hard to say. Does that look like the same thing? Pick out a possible part of it, and we'll go back to, we'll take that off. Go to the pre-show, and then we'll go back in here, and we'll see, no, that's a different code. That's a different code right there. So apparently I didn't fix my problem as well as I thought I had. And also my camera keeps shifting around a little bit. So there you go. Yep. So you're getting the shop with, whenever I pop that one up, you're getting the shop. Yeah. And I can tell by looking at that code now, I recognize that as the shop code. And when I take that off, and let me just pop away for a second and then pop back, there's a trigger that puts on there. That QR code is a different QR code. Jamie said it still works. Yeah, so you got to grab it quickly because it's about to go away. Yeah, there it went. All right, so that's the deal on QR codes. I'll keep you updated on my progress on that. And if you get inspired with that, yeah, Chris, what is Chris saying? It's a free toy with the joystick. Yeah, it's like a Cracker Jacks box. A little piece of news, quick news. I'm working on a project with a local school board, and that's not the news, but they want to be able to stream directly from, they want to literally flip a light switch and turn on a camera and have it automatically stream. And they've got a pretty tight budget, and they don't have a lot of space, and they don't want to do a lot of technical stuff. And so I was looking at the PTZ optics camera because it has the ability to automatically, when it turns on, if you've got it set up right, it will automatically start a live stream and go to a destination. In fact, it'll go to 2 different destinations at 2 different resolutions if you want. And so that seemed to be a really good solution for them. And we worked out a way to get the audio into the audio port or the line-in jack on the camera. So we've got a special mic that's got a battery in it because it needs to have phantom power, and so it provides its own phantom power. Anyway, and there are 3 different locations where this would be. Actually, 2 of them have permanent audio, and the portable one was the one that has the phantom mic with the battery. Phantom powered mic, or a mic that could be phantom powered, but it's also battery powered. Sorry, I didn't want to get in the weeds on that one. Anyway, so you can set it up and it works, and I've done it, and it's really cool. And I need to go up there, obviously, and go with their IT department and have them give me a fixed IP address that we can put into the camera that'll work with their network, et cetera, et cetera. But what I found out in going through all of that is that in the camera, it's there's a field where you can put in an RTMP address. And I thought, that's going to be great. That's exactly what we need to. Except Facebook now will not accept an RTMP address. It will only accept an RTMPS address, the secure version of RTMP. And I'm wondering, okay, what's going to happen? Somebody said that was weird. It did a freeze for a few seconds, but the audio kept going. Well, there's no telling. There's no telling. Am I frozen? Am I frozen? I don't look frozen. Thanks, Rich. Get me off track, don't you? So anyway, so it won't do RTMPS. The camera won't. So we'll have to see if Facebook won't do that. Maybe YouTube is going to work the same way. We'll have to see if we can stay with a RTMP address in order to use that camera in that situation. It'll be interesting if all of a sudden everybody goes to RTMPS, and this feature, what I think is a really cool feature in the PTZ Optics PTZ camera, will just cease to be effective. I mean, it'll still be there. It'll still work, but it'll only work based on what's available. Josh says, YouTube ate the frames but left the audio. I'm fine. Okay, thank you very much. So that's a project that I'm working on that had a piece of news with it, which is if you are intending to use the PTZ Optics camera and the live streaming ability built into the camera, just know that you can't go to an RTMPS address unless they do something with the firmware. I don't know if that's even a possibility, to be able to update the firmware in the camera to stream to an RTMPS address. So forewarned is forearmed. There you go. We're also working on a cool church build. Actually, we've got 2 builds on the bench right now. One for a sign company. One for a school supplier that supplies school, and they're going to put this in a studio in a school. And then one for a church over in Mississippi that I'm really looking forward to working on. It's going to be a lot of fun. Neat little project. But one of the other projects that I'm working on, and I'll take some video and some pictures on it when we finally get to do it. We've got all the specs together, and we're just waiting on some of the equipment. But it is you've all heard of SeaWorld, perhaps SeaWorld, the killer whale shows and all that stuff. And there's one, I think, down in Orlando or Tampa or somewhere down in that part of the country. But up here on the Gulf Coast, in kind of the northern Gulf of Mexico, in Panama City Beach, there is I guess a marine show that doesn't have fighting men in it. It has marine life. A marine show called Gulf World. And in Gulf World, they have a dolphin show. They have a dolphin tank. And part of the dolphin tank, well, on the far end of the dolphin tank is a giant big screen, a LED screen. And that was put in with the thought that they would have a camera there that would be able to show crowd shots, the old, like when you go to the baseball game and you get to kiss your partner and all that kind of stuff. And everything they did there didn't work. It was really kind of, it was a promise made that wasn't kept. And so the folks, kind of the LED folks who were working with a local sign company, got a hold of me and said, what can you do? And I said, well, I'm only 2 hours away. I could go over there and install something myself. And they said, great, but it's outdoors. And I said, okay, that's okay. But it's outdoors in salt weather. My first thought was Rich, how Rich is in salt all the time. And it's summertime, so it's hot. So we had to find a ventilated, weatherproof, salt-proof enclosure. And I just got news this morning that's finally shipping from California. We've been after it for almost 2 weeks. And so we'll be mounting that enclosure on top of the sign, and we'll be doing, and it's really cool. It's powered PoE. So the fans inside are powered PoE, and then the camera will be powered PoE. I guess saying powered PoE is kind of redundant, but you know what I mean. And I'm really looking forward to putting it in. So we'll be powering the camera over Ethernet. We'll be controlling the camera over Ethernet, and it'll be sending its video to vMix over Ethernet. And it'll be in this outdoor enclosure, and it's really going to be fun. So we'll have to see how it all works out. And I'll make sure I take pictures and videos, especially if we get some dolphins involved in the project or something like that. It should be a lot of fun. Well, I guess that's it. We tried to share some things that I thought would be interesting to you. Let's see if we can make that work again. Can we do that? No, we can't do that. Can we do this? Yes, there we go. Okay. So we want to remind you, of course, this is the infomercial part of the show where we talk about the fact that we are actually, Eastern Shore Broadcasting is actually a vendor, and you can buy stuff from us. You can buy vMix, you can buy X-Keys, you can buy Magewell and Yuan and custom PCs. And people say, oh, custom PCs. Oh, golly, custom PCs. Well, actually, it's a streaming PC. It's built to stream. And yeah, you can take an off-the-shelf PC and you can customize it to stream, or you can get one from us and have support from us. I get calls every week from somebody that went down to the big box store and they bought a PC for streaming. And the Best Buy guy said, oh yeah, all you need is this, this, and this, and that'll be fine. And well, they didn't quite get the specs right, and now they're having trouble, and they want to know what they can do. And I don't want to tell them send that back to Best Buy and buy one from me. I want to help them as best I can, but it really does put me in a difficult position to try to help somebody who hasn't really thought it all the way through or didn't have the technical expertise to pull it all off. They're folks that have built their own, and they realize, after building one for their church, they are now the tech support for that PC for the rest of their lives. So if you don't want to get in that situation, or if you think you would be over your head, talk to me. Shoot me an email. Let's see if we can do that again. Can we do that again? Yeah, there we go. And that's the right QR code. Contact me at easternshorebroadcasting.com. It doesn't hurt anything. It doesn't hurt or cost a thing to talk, and we can see if perhaps we can fit into your budget somehow. Anyway, all right. So that's the infomercial. We got the infomercial out of the way. Oh, and by the way, if you want to get one of those buy one get one deals in the QR code, if you're watching this after the fact, just back it up to that QR code that was just there, and that will get you. Yeah, definitely subscribe to us on YouTube, join our Facebook group, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, do whatever you do on Instagram. Yeah, we'd love to have you there. So Jan says, Jan, I'm going to get your questions in the post show. Got to be in the post show. Sorry about that. If you're watching us live, stick around for the post show. We'll be back with that in just a minute. If you're watching us after the fact, thanks for watching. In fact, you'll probably get the post show too. So hang around and watch the post show. Sometimes that's more fun than the show. So we will see you. Will we see you next week? We may have to do a special. No, we may not have a show next week. I'll see if I can't find a substitute. There's got to be somebody out there that can pull this off at least as well as I can. We'll see you then. And we're out. All right, now we're in post-show. Post-show. What did you miss? You missed the whole show. That's what you missed. Golly gee. Oh, okay. Josh has got some information. He said some systems are using libraries behind the scenes for RTMP, most of which support RTMPS. A number of software packages have tried to connect to RTMPS on 443 when RTMP was put into the field. Okay. Well, we'll just have to play with that and see. You know, it is kind of a situation where you never really, you know what people say will work, and maybe other stuff will work too. Spiny Norman, that would be Dan. You missed everything. Golly gee. And Jan is puzzled, what kind of car involvement should the Dolphins have? Car involvement. Okay. Yeah, the Dolphins, what kind? I still don't understand the car involvement. Yeah, the Dolphins may just come up to kind of be inquisitive as to what we're doing at their tank. Yeah, so Spiny Norman's doing a post-post. There you go. I like that, a post-post after the show. Hassan says, any new products or near future products for the low-budget streamer? What do you want? What's your budget? What do you want to do that you can't already do? Or do you just want to be titillated with a new product to spend money on? I do find that, you know, sometimes we do tend to be kind of collectors of stuff, or we tend to be enticed by bright shiny objects. We want to have, you know, we want new toys to play with. I think that's what Hassan is asking, and he wants those new toys on a budget. So there you go. The show, the Dolphins might be in the show, and I don't know. They may have a bunch more cameras besides the one that I'm going to be putting in, and that was Jan on the phone keyboard, as you can see. Let's see what we can do here. Let's go to the graphics, and let's take. Can we create a virtual input of that? Yes, we can. And then we can go to one second, just a second. There we go. All right, can we do that? There we are. Now, right there is the QR code that I was struggling so much to give you before. So now you've got a few minutes to scan it if you want. Yes, the Stream Deck XL is going to be about $250 US. Going to be interesting. Rich is generally up on the Microsoft updates for Windows 10. So far, so good. Haven't heard of any issues, he said. Anyone else? I don't think. I think I'm paused here. Let's see. I'm paused. Oh, no, I'm not paused. Oh, golly gee. I checked today at 11:30, and I'm up to date. Oh, my goodness. How about that? I know I've got this other PC over here paused until mid-June sometime. Clint has got a 16 by 28 shed full of once bright, shiny objects. Clint, I hope you're renting. I hope you own that shed and are not renting that shed. Jan did the 1903 upgrade of Windows. I think that's what I've got. Is it 1903? Let's find out. No, I've got the 1809. There's a 1903. I'll be darned. I thought I was more recent than that. And Clint owns his shed. That's the way to do it. If you got to pay rent on it, what did I pay rent? I rented a storage building and had some old office equipment in there and finally realized the value of the equipment versus the value of the rent. And I cleaned that sucker out in a weekend. It just, it's one of those things kind of creeps up on you. It's like, oh, I'm only going to rent this for a couple of months. And then you look up and it's 12 months later. Yes, we collect bright, shiny objects. Jan says 1903 came out a few days ago. So maybe you have to be a early responder or whatever it is in order to get 1903. Rich, have you got 1903? Clint has got some black and white standard definition 4x3 monitors that are rack mountable. They might work as movie props. I don't know. I mean, I wonder if there isn't some way you could create art out of them. Because they might not be worth much. But, as long as you're not paying for that space, I think you're okay. Yes. 1903. I wonder what we've got on this other guy over here. What version he's running. And that's 1809 also. And it's an older build because I think it's paused. Let's see. Paused until June 19th. There you go. Rich is on 1809. Well, I don't feel so out of touch then. So we'll just verify one more time. System about 1809. Yeah, that's what I got. Okay. So Clint has got some paperweights for sale. Jan says 1903 came out as a general release some days ago. It was released for early birds in March. Well, I didn't get it. But that's okay with me. As long as it's working for you, it will probably work for me. There we go. So, what else is on your minds? Can't imagine it's that much. Let's see, what do we got here? Let's refresh that screen. Let's refresh that screen. And interesting. Hold on, sit tight with me just a second here. And Got it. Get it, got it, good. All right, so apparently the only way to get to this 1903 update is to go look for it some way here. Hey, Scott's here. Hey, Scott. And Jan Marie is getting hungry. You got to take care of that. You got to take care of that. Many of you know Giles Warham from World of Live Streaming. Actually, I had invited Giles to be on the show today when I found out the kids couldn't make it per Dave Edwards' suggestion. Thank you, Dave. And Giles is working on a project that automates vMix. And so we need to get him on the show at another time. And I'm going to tell him that. Would love to have you on. I'll be in touch. There we go. So it's official. We'll get Giles on to talk about that. All right. 1903 was March 19th. Oh, is that how that works? 1809 is September. Uh-huh. Very cool. Very cool. Nobody brought snacks? Marie ate all of them. Rich is going to be South Padre Island, Texas this weekend. Touch base with Rich. Well, thank you for explaining the numerology of the update numbers, Jan. That's very helpful. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Let's check one other thing over here. All right, that's good. That's good. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's try that. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. All right, that's what I wanted to know. Interesting. Interesting. Making vMix run on an old Mac. I don't know that that would be much fun. Oh my goodness. That would be, what would that be? That would be frustrating. That's what it would be. Rich put vMix on a MacBook. How is that working for you, Rich? And it's going to be interesting to see. I don't know if you guys saw about the new NVIDIA offering for laptops, whether that's going to have any impact on vMix or not. Tom Eagle is here. Hello, Tom. Spoke to Tom yesterday. And we are in post-show. Any update for Panimation? That's a good question. I need to get up with Mike and find out. I haven't talked to him in a while. Jan says, if you have a pro version of Windows, you can tell it not to install the first big update, but wait for the second. Okay, there you go. And Josh says, are we getting any Bird Dog P200s in the store soon? We don't have any on order right now. Josh, my thought is that I want them to be out in the wild a little bit more, and I don't want to be kind of doing beta testing, and I don't want my customers in that position either. And so we're gonna hold off just a little bit longer and see what the first reports are on them. And I understand we'll be missing a lot of sales, but I think in the long run, the customers will be better served. Kenny says vMix runs fine under boot camp. Thank you, Kenny. Jerome said, Tom, what's the best way to advertise to churches? The best way to advertise for churches. Jerome, my theory on advertising is called standing in front of traffic. And so if I've got people that I want to advertise to, I just stand in front of them. Find them, stand in front of them. Sooner or later, they'll bump into me and say, oh, excuse me. I'll say, hey, good to meet you. That's my whole thought. So wherever they are, I am. There are a ton of Facebook groups that you can go out and join. And you kind of have to prove yourself, prove your credentials. Rich is vMix on an i5 MacBook is poor performance because it's not an NVIDIA card. I get that. Josh is in search of a PTZ that is smooth and has a physical control surface. Well, there you go. And Tom's going to wait for the A200. And Abdul is here. Hello, welcome. Glad to have you. Some of these are coming from Facebook, so if you don't recognize those as folks in the feed for YouTube, that's why. There you go. Josh, it's interesting you say that about smooth. I was playing with the PTZ camera here and using the handheld remote. It's left, right, up, down. Using vMix, it's kind of a version of left, right, up, down. But using NDI, because it's an NDI HX camera, and using the NDI Studio Monitor controls, it is smooth as can be. It starts smoothly, ramps up fast, slows down. Oh, excuse me, I'm boring myself. And so I think it's just a matter of kind of getting all the different softwares talking to each other. And I think almost any camera that'll do NDI will do control over NDI and do it very smoothly. Now, whether there's a control surface that comes with that, don't know. We'll have to see. I think the jury's still out on all that. I think it's still a work in progress, and I want to see some more progress on it. Yeah, but I haven't. I played with the P200s at NAB because we had one in the vMix booth, and vMix was running it just fine. But I never really got into the weeds with it. Excuse me. Should have used my cough button. Here are all my X keys. I was wondering the other night with the Stream Deck coming out, or the supersized Stream Deck, which I guess has 32 buttons, is that going to impact X keys? And the quick answer is, yeah, it probably will. The long answer is, even though the two products appear to be very similar, they really are very different. And so we'll probably do a show on that on some point. And Josh is looking for what everybody's looking for, which is smooth control. No stair steps, no sudden stops. There you go. Spiny Norman says, I just used vMix NDI desktop capture and a PTZ Optics Z-Cam to record a simulation demonstration from the other side of the office. Is the other side of the office kind of like the other side of the moon? Yeah. So are you going to just tease us with this, or are you going to give us a link, Spiny? All right, Tom's got a question. There we go. Can you control input position and size with shortcuts like a virtual PTZ? I think what Tom is talking about is the new feature in vMix that allows you to take a an image and cut it up into little teeny images and then basically pan in between them like it was like you were moving a PTZ camera. So like a 4K camera could be sliced and diced. Can you control input position? I don't know that you can change. Well, I mean, yeah, you can make a shortcut, Tom, that'll move to input position number 2 from input position number 1, and that it would change the size of that. So you could go from a 1080 and zoom in and make a smaller piece bigger, and maybe go from a 1080 shot to a 720 shot. And so you could do the same thing with the PTZ, because except you would use optical zoom instead of a virtual zoom or a digital zoom. Spiny says he's just impressed they could plug into his office network and bring the 1080 video. Oh, I see. The camera was on one side of the studio and you were of the office, and you were on the other side of the office. I get it now. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that is pretty cool. NDI is the bomb. All right, Jan says we need to use your joysticks. He's talking about the X keys joysticks without looping the control via vMix, but directly via NDI to the PTZ to get smoother controls. What he said. And Kenny, thank you, Kenny. Kenny picks up on my X keys. Says the Stream Deck is essentially a touch panel screen with button presses. I don't believe they're true keys, such as with X keys, a different approach to switching. I agree. And in some ways, very, very sexy. To put the little keycap on there virtually or, digitally, and be able to change it quickly if you needed to. That's cool. All right, Spiny, who works for X Keys, says, I can send you our NDI utility, but we find joysticks are lousy for controlling PTZ cams live. Well, not all of them are. Some of them will do that pretty well. We just need to figure them out a little better. And Jan says Stream Decks are a supplement to an X Keys. Well, there you go. There you go. And Tom wants to know, has anyone ever had NDI on a Raspberry Pi? Tom is over on Facebook, so your comments probably can't be seen by him, but I'm kind of reading it. Well, no, I guess they can, because they're showing up right there. Never mind. All right, Josh is getting into the PTZ thing deeper, thinking of events where you may not be able to use presets and follow action on a stage or field, etc. I think stage is going to be a lot more possible than a field. Field, I just don't see it happening on a field. I don't know. We use a PTZ Optics 12X at my church, and we've got presets set up for lots of places. But during the course of the pastor's sermon, I don't want to use presets, because presets, their movement is not predictable or is not smooth the way I want. But you can tell the camera, hey, slowly pan left, slowly pan right, slowly pan up, slowly pan down, slowly pan left up, and it will go diagonal, right down, and it will go diagonal, and it will do that smoothly. And I use the space bar as the stop. So if I can anticipate what's going on, I can pan at a single speed, you know, zero to one, 1 to 0. And it works in an event situation. So I can follow the pastor across the screen, across the stage as he moves. If he moves quickly, quicker than my pan control, that's when I zoom out, because I can zoom out and catch him and then zoom back in a little bit. But it's not as smooth as what a cameraman would do. It's not as easy. And I'm not sure a joystick would be either. Yeah, Dan's saying the same thing. Slowest possible speed and use it for minor corrections. And that, you know, everybody's talking about gear, but really the operator is a big part of it too. You know, if you get somebody that knows how to operate the equipment, they can get more out of a piece of equipment than other people. If you like the PTZ Optics IP controller, you know it's going to take a half a second to respond. You know that it's going to continue to move for a half a second after you take your hand off the trigger. So a good operator can work around that. Yes, he is limited by his gear at that point. Jonia missed the topic, missed the show. Oh no. Oh, that's so terrible. Well, you didn't miss much. It was just sort of a catch-all show. But you might find something interesting if you're interested in dolphins or QR codes or sixth graders. Wonder how much those cable cam PTZs they use in football cost. I think they're about 50 grand a piece. I think I looked into that a while back. And they use, I think they use 4 joysticks. So 2 operators. One places the camera in the right physical location, and then the other one moves the PTZ part. There's Neil. Neil, as you guys might remember, is the recipient of the most recent giveaway PC and cameras. Neil says, like the stream, we're getting ever so close to installing the cameras here. Well, Neil, it's only been a month. Come on, guys. Let's get on with it. Addison's here. Addison's got a camera. Yes, sir. Jan says, in vMix, use key down to move the PTZ, key release to stop the move, and update preset. Thank you very much. And Ronald's here. Ronald's doing a big basketball gig this weekend here locally, right up the road a little bit. There you go. All right, let's see how we're doing here. Yeah, I think we're doing pretty good. All right, guys, well, I think we're going to close up shop here. If you missed it, this QR code is a special BOGO code for today, actually for this week. And so you can scan it with your phone, or if you're using your phone to watch this, you can go back and watch it later on something else and scan it with your phone and see what the BOGO is. I'm tempting you. Yeah, Ron's going to Frisco City, Alabama. Addison says, send those cameras my way if you can't get them installed. But man, all the cameras are backordered. It's been amazing. It's been amazing. I'm waiting on bundles of cameras. Bundles and bundles. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. It was a joy. I really do appreciate it. And don't forget to mark your calendar for NAB in Las Vegas next April. It starts a day early and it ends a day early. I think it starts on Sunday and ends on Wednesday. So you really do need to come. You just need to say, hey, this is something I'm doing for myself, because you get to meet the rest of the gang, or at least a lot of them, and it'll be a ton of fun, and it'll be something you'll remember as long as you live. So there you go. So I want to leave you today. It's a new feature we're doing here. It's called Leaving You Laughing. So I looked up these jokes online, and these are jokes that my sixth graders have told. And I'll tell you just a few of them just to kind of get you going. It says, remember we're talking about schools, so we're talking about math and all that other kind of stuff. It says, why was 6 afraid of 7? Why was 6 afraid of 7? Why was 6 afraid of 7? Do you know? We'll give you a second to answer. Why was 6 afraid of 7? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Why was 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9. Get it? 7, 8, 9. These are the kind of jokes I have to deal with for these kids. There we go. Josh got it. 7, 8, 9. Why did the student? I'll give you 2 more. Oh, now you guys are getting it. Jonah got it. Why did the student eat his homework? And I guess it could be her. Why did the student eat her homework? Why did the student eat his homework? This one's a little harder. I'll give you, this one is a little harder. And while you think of that one, I'll tell you a riddle, and then I'll tell you the answer right away. But the one you've got to work on is, why did the student eat his homework? And then this is the easy one I'm going to give you, which is, what did one plate say to the other plate? What did one plate say to the other plate? Dinner is on me. Get it? Dinner is on me. Dinner is on me. Okay. So that maybe this joke segment won't be something we do all the time. Say, why did the student eat his homework? Why did the student eat? It has nothing to do with 7, 8, 9. Why did the student eat his homework? Oh, Dave, good one, Dave. Didn't have a dog. Dog died. Josh got it. He says because it was a piece of cake. He has 8-year-olds. There you go. There you go. Josh is the winner. Yep. And Joni got the first one too. It was a piece of cake. All right. So you guys are properly motivated for the rest of the week. What did one plate say to the other plate? Dinner's on me. Why did the student eat his homework? Because the teacher told him it was a piece of cake. Why is 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9. We're ready to go. Ready to go. It was a treat being with you this week. I'm going to let the stream run out. If I can help you in any way, you know how to reach me. It's a pleasure. Y'all take care.